Hello, it's me again. Can you tell I've got nothing better to do? I thought I would do some stuff on that C64. Let me just temporarily put you there a sec. Yeah, that C64 that I got from my friend Dr. Andrew. Um, we'll have a look at that. Take it a bit. Same sec. I've got myself coming up on the stream here. Just go to live chat. Just bear with me a sec, guys. I'm just putting the micro SD card back into my Ultimate card actually, because I just put a couple of games on it. There's a few that I purchased recently. Oh, good God. I'll just show you this. It's one thing I don't like about this, and they may have corrected it on the newer versions. Let me just point you down a little bit. Yeah, if I can. Yeah, trying to get the SD card in here is not easy. You've got to push it with something thin until it clicks like that. That's it. Once I lost it inside there, I think I covered that on the video actually. Yeah, so I might not be on, famous last words, I might not be on long today, maybe an hour, maybe a bit more. So I thought we'll wheel over the other side of the room first of all. We'll just test out that the A4000 that Stephen has kindly let me have. The actual repair series for those, the first parts as they arrived, all the initial clean-up work, that will go up over the next few days. I might try and edit the first one of them today, actually, go up later for patrons, I don't know. Yeah, so that'll be at least a two-part thing. So this A4000, the one that Stephen's let me keep, is the A board, the A-hole board. And we had the interesting control issues again today, the mouse. Do you remember, I've talked about it on videos now, the mouse has driven me nuts. So it was the same thing again, where it wasn't working on the mouse. Now you could see someone previously wrenched off the chip there, so there's no pads to mount to, hence why I had to piggyback it on the chip there. So I knew it was something to do with that, but it's happened 2 or 3 times, and each time I reflow various things, and it's okay again, and then I use it for a week or two, and everything's fine. And then you get a day like today where, I don't know what it's like where you are, but here in the UK this afternoon it's been really hot actually, like a summer's day. And yeah, it did the same thing again where up stopped working. So I looked at PCB Explorer. I was looking at where the up and the down pins are on each side of the chip, because actually the up and down, forwards and backwards, goes there for both of the controller ports there, not just the mouse port. And I wasn't sure which one was the one that was going where. So I just simply, took the wires off, the wires that were on this side here, just detached them. So in order that I could get to the pins, because it was like the second pin from the left here and the fourth one. And I reflowed them with a bit of flux, and they reflowed fine. There's a bridge wire there as well for one of those that I've reflowed. And then I did the opposite thing on the other side. It's I think from the right hand side, the second pin from the right and the fourth pin from the right are the forwards and back. And after I did that, I powered it on and it works again. So fingers crossed. But I thought we'll just test this. I'll play a few games. I did say I was going to do a stream where I play a few games. So we'll not spend too long, 15 minutes, looking at a couple of maybe some of my favourite Amiga games. But then we'll take a look at that C64 from my friend Dr. Andrew. We'll take the lid off it first of all, have a look inside it. I'm curious to see what's actually inside there. Just noticed a donation. Thank you very much for that, Kevin Howson. Much appreciated. Yeah, so we'll take a look inside that C64, and then we'll bring it over here and connect it up and test a few things. I've got a couple of tapes I want to test. Got some tapes that again came from my friend Dr. Andrew. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's a late stream, isn't it? What time is it now? 3:15. We started a bit late here. It's just one of those days where, let's say, I had a headache today, and I've also felt a bit off and a bit demoralised, for various reasons. My uncle keeps popping into my mind every 2 minutes, which is it's not helping things. Just point you up there. Yeah, and if you're confused what I mean by that, my uncle's not well at the moment. As I mentioned in the last stream. So we'll boot the Amiga up here. I've not got a keyboard connected, so that's going to limit to me as to what games I can play. But I think some of my old favourites and things should be okay with. Just checking that phone is on charge. Yes, it is. So I hope everybody's well. I'll try and keep up with the chat a little bit better today. If you're not aware, on the last stream we had some guy towards the end of the stream there He asked a question, and I'll be honest, it was in retrospect, it was a ridiculous question. We were talking about keyboard differences between regions there. You know, the fact that on some of the Scandinavian keyboards there, I think one of them might be Finnish, someone said, and I think the other one may be German. But so, yeah, you just get the odd key that's got different letters and things, you know, obviously appropriate to the country it was intended to be used with. And the guy asked the question, I think, what about the mouses? And then he must have waited approximately 2 minutes and hadn't seen his question, and he just had a complete meltdown over the fact that I hadn't answered his or read out his question, and proceeded to swear and stuff amongst the chat. So yeah, he got removed. So yeah, if you're planning on being abusive, it's not going to last long. You'll be out of there. Anyway, let's load a game up. Watched a couple of streams this morning actually. The first one was Kim Justice. There's a charity stream going on, isn't there, for, I forget where it is now. It's one of the computer museums in the UK. It might be the British Computer Museum. Honestly, can't remember. I get confused between the two main charity sort of museum places there. But anyway, yeah, there's a streamathon going on, isn't there? Various people doing streams. Trista Bites, Miss Madeline Lemon, Ashens, I think. Some of those are happening today, some of them are tomorrow. Right, where was I going to go then? Let's go into New Zealand story first, I think. And but you can see the mouse is working fine now. The interesting thing is the way I tested that actually, I resoldered the two pins on the, I'm trying to think which side it was, the top side of the chip first, the one nearest the video connector, if you think about it like that, and tested it again, and it still wasn't working. The interesting thing is you could literally just put the smallest amount of pressure on the chip, like touch it with just touch the top of the chip with the logic probe, and actually it started working. And you pull the probe off and it would stop. So I knew it was a bad connection there. And then I did obviously the bottom side nearest the battery, those two pins there, tested it again, it was fine. So I'm sure that's all it was. But then again, I've said that 3 times now, so at some point I might be forced to take off that IC and redo all the wiring on there, which I really don't want to do. Because it was not an easy job trying to mount one chip on top of another in piggyback fashion there. Afternoon all, Zerx Renew, hi. Charles Duvall, ASM Recover, Robert Cook, nice to see you. I've been having some issue getting a micro SD card into my Mega SD. Is it a similar thing there then, where the shell is perhaps, you've got to, it's not perfect in terms of the way they've created the shell, so you've got to push, the thing further in there than you would expect. Let me just hit fire. Let's just make sure how loud this is going to be. Yeah, that's loud enough. Hopefully you can still hear me over it. But we'll have a go. Just a few of these, not long on each one. Just play for a few minutes. It's a bit of nostalgia for me, and it allows me to test out this board a little bit as well. The other A4000 has gone back to Stephen now. I did check the tracking on it this morning. It appears it's still at the local depot here actually. I'm guessing it's maybe because it's been bank holiday. I'm not sure what parcel force do on Saturdays and things. Maybe they don't do nothing on Saturdays. But it should get there next week to Stephen, I think. Isn't it bank holiday Monday though as well? So I don't know. Maybe it'll be Tuesday by the time it gets to him. One thing I'm a bit nervous about with that, and if you don't like my channel, you might want to watch Stephen's video because it might entertain you. Stephen's said he's going to have a look at that board and take the mick out of it, basically my work, obviously with the camera. He's got a microscope camera there. God forbid he gets that onto some of the points I've reflowed on there, because I tell you what, under a microscope, it would look horrific. No matter how clean you think you can make something look, it's a whole different world under a microscope. Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to that. Oh, darn. In some ways, I hope it gets lost in transit. Don't tell Stephen. I'm sure it won't. I added some insurance on it anyway, a few £100 just in case it does go missing, but yeah, playing awful there. Where did the balloon go then? I think I burst it straight away on that, didn't I? The nice thing is if you hang around and wait, come out those little secret doors, don't they? So I've just remembered there's a secret at the beginning of this level, I've missed it now. A warp zone thing, isn't there? I can never remember where they all are, but I do remember the one being on the second level there. at the start. There we go. Fluffy Kiwis, I think that was the cheat for this, wasn't it? I don't know where you enter it. Isn't the high score table you type Fluffy Kiwis or something, I think? I vaguely remember. Yeah, I've got nostalgia for this game though. As I mentioned in a few streams back, I think it was. First time I played on the Amiga, I think, was at a friend's house. It was when I was at college. I went to his house at lunch and he just happened to have this game, and I think he had Dragon Ninja as well. Don't worry, I'm not going to play Dragon Ninja. Dragon Ninja's blooming awful. It's probably not that bad in retrospect, certainly not compared to some of the other systems, but yeah, I don't particularly like the Amiga version of it. Let's see if I can show you where that secret is, because I'm not going to get far in this. Certainly not while I'm glancing over at chat every now and again. It's at the start, this next level, I'll just show you. Yeah, the shell is a bit wonky there, and no screws at the top of the card to secure it. Yeah, so I think the warp thing, and there's a number of these throughout the game, it's up here on the left. I think you've got to fire somewhere here. There it is. See where it goes? Level 1, 2. Weren't we on 1, 2? It confused me. Yeah, I don't think I've ever taken that warp, I've just seen other people demonstrating it. I think I saw Jamie or Miss Mad Lemon demonstrate that, I'm sure. Fluffy Philip on the Spectrum is the cheat apparently, Mahat says. I keep saying Mahat, I'm sure I'm probably mispronouncing your name, Mahat. It sounds like me saying, I'm just going to go and get Mihat. I'm sure that's not how it's pronounced. Sorry, I am awful at pronunciation of names. It probably sounds similar to Matt, I would think. I could be wrong. Please let me know. I don't remember this level. I don't think I've ever got as far off the first few levels, really. I don't think I've ever got to the first boss. It's awesome, though. It's very good. It's nearly as good as the Mega Drive version, I would say, but the Mega Drive version is a little bit smoother. Oh. Oh. We'll try something else after this this live, I think. Maybe Ghosts and Goblins, I wouldn't like trying that. Oh. Keith, hello Keith, nice to see you. Keith, was it you that sent me the, I forgot what it's called now, Plip box? I think it was. So thank you very much for that. That'll be an upcoming video at some point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was yourself. Anyway, let's just reset that power cycle. Simon Zafara, or Zarafa, I should say. Afternoon. Afternoon, Simon. Charles Duvall, third time the charm. Yeah, well, yeah, in terms of that board, yeah, I'm just holding it third time the charm, hopefully. I can't see what else it could be now, though, because I have literally reflowed every single pin, and I have seen that it's not just like it was, like I thought it was originally heat sensitive. I mean, obviously it is heat sensitive because it's today with the warm weather here, that's when it's started being a problem. But I did prove that it was a physical contact problem just by literally just touching the top of the chip and the up would start working. And then you could pull your finger off or pull the tool away and it would stop working again. Just the slightest tiny pressure and it was working. But that could be a sign, you see, that a trace is damaged maybe. And that might be the issue. But then again, I've reflowed it and it's working. So let's try Ghosts and Goblins. Let's have a look at the C64 version of this. I've got no nostalgia for this particular version because it was much later by the time I got you know, into the Amiga stuff that I ever played the Amiga version. And for me, there's something special about the C64 version actually. That's Ghouls and Ghosts, I don't want that. The version of Ghouls and Ghosts I think is not very good on the 16 bits actually. I like the music on it. It's still fun, but it's not anywhere near as good as the C64 version. Hang on a minute. Am I going blind here? Well, GH, Ghostbusters, Ghouls and Ghosts. We've got things overlapping here, no we haven't. Let's just redo a sort again. Maybe it's not on here. It's definitely on my other compact flash cards, on my other machines. Yeah, it's not there, is it? Got Ghostbusters, Ghouls and Ghosts. No Ghosts and Goblins. That's weird. Okay, let's forget that idea. Let's load Pac-Land, because I'm quite fond of Pac-Land as well. You can give me suggestions as well. If there's one or two games you want me to check out before we start looking at the C64, take the lid off and have a look inside it. Let me know. Neffers, hi Neffers. Let me just see if I can make Neffers moderator, because I tried that the other day. Yeah, Neffers is now moderator. There you go, Neffers, you've been promoted. Just don't get into fights with the other moderators. I'm not sure I could handle it. Pac-Land is awesome on the links. Yeah, I love it. I love it. The links version is awesome. We might have a look at the links in a day or so as well, because I was thinking of doing that VGA mod. I almost decided to do that as today's stream, but I'd like to remind myself by watching back my original video when I did the screen mod on it. I'm looking for it, you know, Pac-Land, there it is. Yeah, I want to just have a look back at that video, because I can't remember how scary I left the wiring when I put it together, because that's going to dictate how easy it is to do, I think. We might have to redo some of the screen mod that I did, because if the wires are just messy in there, yeah, that could just be a bit of a problem. And obviously the issue is where do you mount the VGA connector, but yeah, I think I might just move the brightness wheel on that links to do that. So yeah, I like this, I love this game. Yay, starts with a key with the joystick. Now, some of these posts here, these little things, fire hydrants, there's secrets behind, isn't there? And I just remembered, if you tap right twice, like you see, look, you move slowly when you just press it, but if you tap it, you absolutely leg it. There we go, got the little baseball hat. When you get that, you can collect the little ghosts that they drop on you, can't you? They bomb you. Although none are doing it at the moment. Oh. I'll tell you what's annoying about that. I'm sure on the other versions you can land on the car roofs. Can't get that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you should be able to land on the car roofs and jump off them. I'm sure. I'm sure on the PC Engine version you can do that. It's a bit bare here, isn't it? Where are all the ghosts? That was really weird. There weren't very many ghosts there, were there? I'm sure I played lots of the versions, maybe even including this one. Never only seen like one or two ghosts that whole time there. This bit can be a bit hard. Oh. Yeah, that isn't the hard bit. It's when you get a few of them here like this. Oh. It's definitely a good version though, without a doubt. I don't think there's a bad version, to be fair, this game. You've got to try and jump at the end there, and the height you're at dictates the bonus you get. The C64 version was decent, so yes it was. Yeah, it was. The maze sections were the worst, yeah. This bit's not too bad. The bits that can put a lot of people off is the bit in a minute, if I get to it. With the trampoline things, you've got a springboard, is probably a better way of describing it. Oh, yeah, oh, this lock bit is not, not particularly fun. I thought I was going to fall down that little gap then for a minute. Oh. Yeah, here's the bit. Now, I honestly can't remember what you press. I think, hang on, when you get that. In the arcade, you had different buttons for running left and right, didn't you? You had a button to go right, a button to go left. Let's just see if we can do this now. Yeah, I can't remember how you do it. I think you might have to waggle the stick on this one, actually. Let's come out of that. I'm not doing all that again. I can't be bothered on the stream. But yeah, I think you've got to waggle the stick on this version. On the PC Engine version, it might be like the arcade, where you've got to, I think, repeatedly press right, or you press the jump button, I forget which. But it varies between versions as to what you actually do. I think most of the home ports on computers, you tend to waggle. So I'll just catch up with the chat. IK Plus on the C64. Yeah, we can try that. We'll do the C64. Any suggestions on what you want me to load up here? It might not be on here, but we'll have a look. It might be on the drive, on the hard disk there. Lynx is one of the best handhelds at 16-bit and Amiga of sorts. Yeah, well, it's got some of the same engineers and things worked on the Lynx, didn't it? That had experience working on the Amiga chipset. Someone said, congrats on the wrench. Oh yeah, he's talking about Nefros. It's like, wrench? What wrench? PC Engine version is nice, yeah. Wings, Barbarian. Let's, Wings. I can't remember. What's Wings? Is Wings a shmup? Let's see if Wings is on here. Or is Wings that 3D flying thing a bit like you get on the Atari Lynx? Or will you talk about the Atari Lynx? I watched an awful Amiga game this morning on Kim's stream there, actually. I forgot what it was now. Dirty Harry. It was terrible. What a terrible version of... well, I'm not sure there is a good version of that game. Oh, there is Wings. Let's see what Wings is. I bet it's going to be a flight sim, is it? Hopefully it's not a flight sim. Or is it going to be one of these games that I can't get into because I need to know what the keys and things are? Want simple things that involve me moving up, down, left, right, and fire. With no keyboard input. Someone said, no, Wings on the Amiga, best game for me. Okay. Super Frog. Let's just see what this is like, actually, because it's a Cinemaware game. Let's just see if it's got any graphical intro sort of things. The Cinemaware games usually are very nicely polished, aren't they? Usually have really sweet music and sound, and really nice cinematic sort of stuff with the intros and the cut scenes and things. Matt's just said carrier command and Super Frog. Yeah, carrier command. There was a huge following of that at the time when it came out. Everybody I seemed to speak to back then always mentioned carrier command. There was a similar game on the Atari ST, wasn't there? I think it was called Armageddon or something like that, and it was a 3D, engine there. We could fly various vehicles, fighter jets, helicopters, I think tanks as well, actually. You can see what I mean about the cinematic sort of intros stuff there. No wonder they got the word cinema in the title. Ah, hang on. Let's just see. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to start this because I've not got the keyboard connected. Let's power cycle it. I will check that out. The Cinemaware games are really good, and there are many of them like that I've never played. I think the one I'm most familiar with, well, there's two. There's Beyond, what's it called? The desert one. It came from the desert. That's great. That I started playing that, got really into it. And there was also that one with the guy with the rocket pack. What's it called? It was a comic based on a comic, wasn't it? And a TV series from like 50s or 60s or something. Rocket Man or something. Rocket. What's it called? Does anyone know what it's called? I can't think what it's called now. Rocketeer or something. I'm going to look actually just under R. I'm sure that's probably here. Rocket Ranger. There we go. Rocket Ranger. Yeah, thanks people. Yeah, I just noticed you posted that in chat. Nigel Soros, thank you, and Hudson. Yeah. Good on the C64 too. I didn't know that was on the C64. Kind of looking at an Amiga game to play. I played through Cannon Fodder 1 and 2 again. Yeah, Cannon Fodder's really good. Base jumpers. Yeah, wasn't that a CD32 only thing? I mean, it's probably on here. Let's try it in base jumpers. I think it was actually. It may have been ported to the 1200. So, on my own setups here for my compact flash cards, I usually list them. I usually have them list order, but on this particular build that I didn't set up, it does weird things when you try and list things. There it is, base jumpers. And there's the base jumpers CD32 below it. So yeah, it was obviously not just a CD32 exclusive, but there is a CD32 version that's on that card as well. Do you have Another World? Yes, that'll be on there, definitely. It'd be interesting to see whether we get music with this, or whether it was the music on the CD. Yeah, I think the music was on the CD version, wasn't it? It runs a bit fast, doesn't it? I like his little Amiga hat with a little checkerboard there. So I think what you've got to do is race to the top of this, don't you? And then do you skydive from the top or something? I forget now. Because I've played this once on the, or twice on the CD32. Hang on. Yeah, so you've got to work your way up to the top. Oh. Can you jump on them? Yeah, you can. Oh. Oh. What makes this hard is it moves really quick.
Oh my.
So what happens when you get up there? You jump off. I got squished, I think. That's 4 player as well. It looks like you could have 4 players here. Yeah, I'm dead, I think, aren't I? But yeah, that's computer controlled players, look. Very cool. Very cool. It's not CD32, I used to play my 1200. Oh, I'm going to get a crash there, did you see that? Exception, access fault, task, Amos, exp mem. It's probably the version of WHLoad that's on there, or the slave version, to be fair. Because I've used this machine a ton. Well, I know there's nothing wrong with it, but 1 or 2 games which won't work. I'll give you another example. Let's just see if Batman works on here. Batman the movie. I bet it doesn't. And I think it's. Oh, it might do. It might do. Let's try that. I might be thinking of the 060 actually. But you see, the thing is, this cup now. There you go. This is the error. I remember this now. Object not found on reading Batman. So this is something to do with this compact flash card, I think, or it could be the fact that this compact flash card's been set up for an 060. Oh, nice, catch a stream when I'm not rushing out to work more. Yeah, you can have 4 players with a multi-tap happy coding set. That's really cool. There are other mini games in it as well. Excellent. I'll check that game out. I'll spend some more time on that off stream actually, because. It does look really cool. Matt, the days when the CPU just locks up and I'm not happy, very frustrated. Let's just have a quick look for something else. Let me load Bubble Bobble. I'll just do a few levels on that. I just love that game so much. It's such a simple premise, isn't it, the way it works. And again, it's one of those, a bit like New Zealand Story, it's one of those games where there are no bad home versions of it really. It's good on everything. I see so many games when I'm scrolling around it that I like. I like Beast Busters, I like Beneath the Steel Sky. There was a shoot 'em up there I saw as well, a shmup, what's it called? Let me just go back. Battle Squadron. That's quite good. So many games on the Amiga. Bubble Bobble. I didn't know there was a version of Buck Rogers' Countdown to Doomsday on here. I'm surprised at that. I first played that. It was like it's an RPG. I played it on the Mega Drive. And it's a really weird one of those where I went to the store and I was naive. And I'd not had a Mega Drive long, and I said to the guy, "What's a really good game for the Mega Drive?" And he was like, "Oh, if you want something really, really good, you want Buck Rogers' Countdown to Doomsday." So I was kind of expecting, you know, some sort of really amazing music, amazing sound effects, arcade shoot 'em up sort of game or something. And it was an RPG. And actually, if you look at that game, look at clips of it on YouTube, you'll see. On first impressions, it looks like you're playing a NES game or something. It's really, really basic. The way the graphics are presented, it's like stick men moving around and stuff. And I was disgusted with it. I was ready to take it back. I was really, really peed off that I'd paid like full price. You know, it was like back then they were like, I don't know, 30 odd pound, £37 for a Mega Drive game or something. And I'd spent my hard-earned wages or something that week on that game. But I gave it another try. And as I got into it, I actually started to get into the story and like, you know, the characters and the dialogue and all that. And then I actually started to like the role-playing aspects of it. And before you know it, like a few weeks had gone past and I played the entire thing right through to the very end. And it was brilliant. But I mean, I've looked back at it since. Yeah, the graphics are terrible on it. They really are. Especially for a Mega Drive game, you just expect so much more of it. But it's a great game. If you like RPGs, you've got to give it a try. I mean, I don't know what the Amiga version is like, but yeah, I had really fond memories of playing the Mega Drive one. It's always worth waiting up here because you get the bonus things, don't you? Like rings and things up here. Like that bracelet there. Look. Yeah, so if you've never played this game, you've been living under a rock, I think. But no, seriously, if you've never played this game, you've just got to, you know, fire the bubbles to trap the enemies. They stay in the bubble for a short period of time, and they'll escape and then be angry and get you twice as fast. So you are better off, you know, bursting the bubbles like that as soon as you've captured them, really, trapped them. But there is a strategy element there too, keeping some of them just bubbled up like that. And if you just hover here and just watch around, somewhere a little bonus will appear. It's usually within about 45 seconds-ish of the round. There's one. Now let's get that. There we go. So it's like a little thing that just gets rid of everything on the screen and you collect the little points, or whatever they are. And obviously it's two-player co-op, so you both play at the same time and compete for score and stuff. You can't get those corner ones on this level, this map. You can't jump far enough, I don't think. But if you were to get them all, you get like a bonus, you know. Collected all of the things, I got that one. And you can't fire bubbles when you're in the bonus round like that, which is annoying. Yeah, anyway. Just do 1 or 2 more rounds. You get obviously progressively harder. You get to the point where you need to think about bouncing on your bubbles. I'll just capture these ones first, show you this. Yeah, so if I put a bubble down, hang on, somewhere here, you'll see that you can actually bounce on your bubbles. So there's a load of strategy towards learning how to use that to your advantage as you get further into it. We get that candy cane. That will give us a giant fruit or a cake or something at the end of the round. And obviously, you collect the letters here to spell extend. If you extend, you get a free life. What that orangey? Oh, they're all going to escape quick. Yay, there we go. Saw that giant cake come down, that's because I've got the candy cane there. Certainly good in 2-player, because obviously you fight to get the giant fruits and things like that, and giant cakes. I see there's a whale boss later in the game. Yes, I think in New Zealand story there's a whale boss, and you've got to freeze them or something, I can't remember now. But I think at the end of this there's a whale boss, isn't there? There's certainly a big boss at the end of it. Oh, they're escaping quick, aren't they? Yeah, I'm not taking any chances to try and get rid of most of them, just leave one like that. Or one like green E. Oh, give me the E. Oh, it's all gone wrong. I want the E. Oh, I've missed it. The other technique for getting more scores is to hit fire all the time at the end of a round like that. Your score goes up by, you know, points each time you fire. And obviously there's power-ups you can get as well. You can get shoes that make you run faster. Yellow Sweet gives you faster firepower, so you can fire twice as fast. There's one to make your bubbles last longer, and one to make your bubbles go further across the screen before they float upwards. Oh, I want that end. Oh. Keep missing all the letters. Free life there. Score. Beware of Baron von Blubber. Yeah, you saw a few times there where it says hurry up. It says hurry up. If you leave it too long, don't kill them all quick enough, then yeah, Baron von Blubber comes on. It's like a little bone-shaped ghost or something. It's like a ghost, but he's a skeleton. I don't really know how to describe him. He's the ghost of the skeleton, I think. And on that water there, you can see some bubbles contain water. So if you burst it, the water slides around. And if you're actually on the water, you can ride it, as you can see. Sweet, so addictive. I think I've only played the arcade game itself once, actually. My good friend Andrew, a different Andrew, not Dr. Andrew, Andrew I went to school with. There was one time when I was at ITAC, you know, college there, technical college. He was studying at Bristol College at the same time, and we met up a few times in Blackpool. It was just near the bus station, where we both, you know, took the bus back to where we live. So after he finished college and I'd finished college, we'd meet up sort of, I don't know, mid-afternoon, and there was a kebab shop that was just near on the way, you know, to the bus station there, and they happened to have bubble bobble in there. So yeah, I used to go off a kebab for my lunch there and play bubble bobble. Yeah, fond memories. God, those kebabs were tasty from that place, I tell you. Have you heard Japanese orchestra playing Bubble Bobble theme, full symphony? No, I haven't. Blackpool as once arcade mecca. Yeah, well there you go. I mean, Blackpool was North Pier and South Pier. You know, you'd have lots of arcade machines around there. Anyway, I think we've played that too long. I could literally go on and on and on that one. Well, up to about level 60, and then it starts to get incredibly hard. You get like Space Invader enemies that come they come along the top of the screen there, and they bomb you like actual Space Invaders. Which is, I guess, no surprise. The inspiration is come from one of their other games, you know, because it was Taito, say how you want. We created Space Invaders, and they produced Bubble Bobble. They did some great games, Taito, actually, or Taito. I call them Taito, well, as in potato. Some people call them Taito. Do you want to have a look at another game, or shall we have a look at that C64? Because I guess time is cracking on. We've perhaps been on for, how long we've been on, about half an hour so far. What would you prefer? Do you want to have a look at another Amiga game, or do you want to go look at the C64? C64. Does anyone remember the arcade cabinet version of Star Wars? You sat down. Yes, I did. Yeah, I mentioned that a few streams back, I think. Yeah, I sat down in it, and yeah, I didn't want to get out. It was fantastic. You know what I liked about Star Wars as well, and the sit-down version? The controllers, you know, it's like you could pull them like that. They would rotate that way, so, and as well as that way. So it was like it seems like a crazy control scheme that you struggle with. But you know what? It was super intuitive, and it worked really well. Fantastic. You know, I've never been able to just sit down and grab control of a game like that and play super well on the first play. And I did. I played it really well. Someone's just said they're Taito Irish chips. Yeah, Dermot Sweeney sent me some of those Taito crisps. Oh, they were delicious. James 76, hi, nice to see you. As I always say, if I miss something, please just send it directly to me with tap the @ symbol there. At Gadget UK 164, and you'll see it'll highlight it. It'll send it to me highlighted if it's something important I've missed. If I do miss something, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's just because I can't focus on everything at once. So let me think. I'll just wheel you back over to the Mac. I'll take the Mac over as well. I'll have to bring the charge cable as well, actually, for the phone. So I'm just running out of space here. stuff all over the place. Let's go and bring that C64 over. We'll have a quick look inside it. Hang on a sec. Yeah, so I'm curious to go inside this before we test it. It'd be interesting to see what's in there. You know, what's the board revision, and also what SID revision. I mentioned in the past, a few streams back again. It seems to be a common thing now. I keep saying a few streams back. Yeah, a few streams back. I did mention I was hoping it might have an R4AR revision SID, just because I think that's one I've not come across since I got back into these things. I'm sure I saw a number of them back in the day when I was repairing and servicing C64s, but yeah, I haven't seen one in all of the C64s I've looked at over the last 8 or 9 years, you know, on my channel and before my channel actually. So let's just move this back a little bit. So we'll just have a quick inspection. I mean, it looks alright. It's a bit dusty. You can see the keys are super dusty here. There's the odd mark, but it's in pretty pristine condition, I think. You know, the badge up here is immaculate. And some of the cases vary on these, don't they, depending on the kind of plastic they're made of and when they were made. This is the cheaper plastic, I think, that you tend to see the similar sort of plastic on the cost-reduced VIC-20s. So it might be one of the last in the life. You know, the end of the bread bin type before they moved on. I don't know, but it could also be just depending on where it was manufactured. There are a number of versions of the cases and things, so let's just look back there. So we've got 84 there, haven't we? Can you see that, /84? Does that mean it's an 84 one? So it's going to be early then, isn't it? Because I think they went as far as about 86, was it, before they moved on to the 64C? I could be wrong. I'm just guessing, I think. So let's get the 3 screws out. There's no, hang on, use the other screwdriver. There's no warranty seal or anything on this. Sometimes with these, you may find something where somebody's serviced it in the past, you know, and put their own warranty seal on it. A Spectrum Plus we recapped in the previous stream, that's got something printed on the underside of it to suggest it was repaired previously. And actually, if you saw the bit where we swapped out the Z80 on that, you know, a few streams earlier, prior to that one, it was clear it had been repaired because the RAM had been repaired, the lower RAM. One of the lower RAM chips was, it was a weird looking ceramic chip, wasn't it, compared to the others. So yeah, that had a bit of history, that last one. And I've left the sticker on it underneath. I'll leave that on. I think a few years ago I perhaps would have started to remove things like that and make it cosmetically perfect, like good as new. But these days, when I find a bit of history there to do with it being serviced by a particular company, I'm now tending to leave it on because it's interesting. You know, it's an interesting piece of its own history. So it's got the shield here. This is a rarity again these days. So I'm not sure I would keep it on there, but I wouldn't throw it away. I might store it somewhere if I was going to do anything, you know, with it. So I'll just disconnect the LED there. We'll disconnect the keyboard connector over here. Just carefully try and pull it up. Move the keyboard out of the way. So I think it is one of the later versions, isn't it? But yeah, it is, because you've got the dedicated clock IC here. You know, it's a single IC instead of having a bunch of 7.4 series. You can see some heatsink compound somehow has got onto the actual corner pin or two there. Not sure how that's got there. Maybe someone has been in it in the past. I don't know. Anyway, let's get the shield off. Do you know, I don't think I've actually seen this revision. Now I think about it, I don't think I've ever seen... Oh, no, I have. No, I have. Yeah, because there's a few of these. You can get the one with, like, the cardboard sort of silvery shield thing, can't you? And that was the older one that used to flap down. It had a couple of little clips, and you clip one on here or something and one somewhere else. But this one, yeah, it's been a while since I've seen one with a solid metal thing like this. The American ones have got a bigger shield, haven't they, that joins on the underside. You've got to literally desolder it to get it off the machine, I think, some of those US models. Is there another screw? Yeah, there's one there. Quite a few screws. This is the same revision, actually, thinking about it, as the one that I've got that I'm going to show you, well, I might show you later, the one that I use myself that's got, and there's a screw here, the one that's got, yeah, so you can't see that, the one that's got stereo SID and stuff set up in it, the main one I use. It's exactly the same model, I think. Let's just pull that screw out there. So it's very dusty. It is very dusty in there. I'll just try and catch up with the chat a sec. Someone said, yeah, it definitely gets hot. It's looking at the SID there, I think, and that heat shield. So you might want to have this on. That's a good point. You might want to have something like this on as a heat shield. But yeah, I mean, there isn't much in the way of compound there. There's a little bit that would have been on the SID there, because that's going to be the thing that gets hottest, the SID and the PLA. Oh, got a loose screw there, look. So I'm going to have to turn that off in order to see exactly what SID's there. I'm guessing it's not going to be one of the later ones. It's not going to be an R4AR. It's likely to be a Rev 3, I think, or maybe the one before that. I think because there was one before that. It'd be Rev 4 maybe. Oh, what a mess. Just try and pull it off with this. It's just a straight 6581, that. There's no version, you know, there's no revision number or anything. It's an early one, isn't it? 50th week of 1984. Successfully managed to stick something back on there. Look. Let's just let me get a clean piece of kitchen roll. Now, I've seen people remove the chips on these before they power them up because, you know, they're worried about the regulator over here, the one for the 12 volts failing or something and feeding 18 volts or whatever it is, you know, the input straight through. But the same with the 5 volt side, you know, people worry that the 5 volt regulator could have gone and could be feeding the input straight to the output. You know what, I've only seen that once in all the time, even when I was in the trade. So I'm not in a rush to do that. I'm sure it'll be fine. So yeah, that chip there has been socketed, look, that's unusual. So maybe it has had repair in the past. Maybe we should just take the board out to have a look at that actually. Let's just do that, just to see if there's any solder points on the underside there. I can always reassemble it off camera. We can just plug it back together in a minute and test it out, load some games on it. Let's just see if I can show you what I'm doing here. Let's just get this screw out of here. Adrian Black has been doing a number of videos on the C64 recently, hasn't he? He did one, he's been doing some really good ones actually. There's one modulating mod you can do, removing a couple of caps or something to tidy up the video on them. So it's worth checking his channel out for that. But there was something I was going to mention, I can't remember what it was now. Yeah, and in fact it's Adrian Black that did that actually. Just thinking about the series of events about removing the VIC and removing the SID and measuring the voltages, but yeah, you don't really need to do that. It's a good technique to show people, but just have a look at that there. It's factory, it's a factory socket, that. Yeah, it's a factory socket. It's been on there since day one though. It's very dirty in here though, very dusty. So let's just sit that back in there. And be very careful handling the chips and these boards actually, because you know, I skirt over the ESD stuff a bit, and I do say you know, a fair number of times, you know, should be wearing an ESD wrist strap. This is one of the places that you'd be very stupid to not wear an ESD wrist strap, because I'll tell you now, even me with my you know, as lackadaisical I am when it comes to ESD, I would not attempt to handle that SID chip without ESD precautions, because the filters in there, they damage super easily. And it's a similar thing I've talked about so many other times. CIA chips, you just have to look at CIA chips and they fail. And again, it's the ESD side of things. You get a little bit of static introduced somewhere, and on these, more often than not, it's, you know, you're trying to fiddle with a port here, and either your finger touches one of these here and you feed static in, or you yeah, you connect something up while it's on, something that's, I don't know, it's powered, it's a joystick with an auto fire or something. And I've seen them before where they'd come in and all that would happen, someone would say, the controller port's not working now, joystick's not working, yeah? And we'd say, what did you do? Oh, I was just plugging the joystick in and I saw a spark, yeah? And that's always what it was. Now, I think that some of these have got diodes or something there to protect against that, but you know what? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The CIA chips are so easy to kill that way. And the similar thing was with the ports here. Someone would plug a disk drive in whilst the disk drive was powered on or something like that, you know, plug it in whilst it's on and kill one of the CIAs through the serial port there. So anyway, move these screws out. I'll put it all back together later. I'm not going to do that. Let's just wheel over there and give it a try. Now, you could argue this should be heat sunk at that point, but it'll be all right. It's cooled off quite a bit in here this afternoon, so it's not super hot. We're not going to be testing for hours. We'll just give it a good 20 or 30 minutes. We'll test a few games out. I've got some new games I want to test out myself, but I've also got, I can show you here, the odd cassette. I purchased this a while back. I haven't had a chance to test it. And then there are also some games came from Dr. Andrew here that they're probably awful, but I don't know whether they work. Cosmic Cruiser, William Wobbler, oh dear, Pedro, I'd imagine one. Play the name of the game, Frogger. Yeah, so they're not exciting games, are they? Got another Cyclones there. Look, I just found another one. Trooper Truck. That sounds awful. It looks like Moon Patrol, that doesn't it? Might be a clone of Moon Patrol. Yeah, so I've got two copies of Cyclones there. I don't know what why that is. That's a bit weird. So yeah, I'm not going to test all of those on here, but I might just try and load one of them. We'll take over Cosmic Cruiser. Let's try Cosmic Cruiser. And I'll see if I can load it from tape. So yeah, that will be a bit painful, but nevertheless, it might be interesting. So I'll just unplug you and take you back over there. We'll bring that board with us. I'll bring the keyboard in a sec and connect it back up. Well, we need to do a few things here, don't we? Need to move things around a bit because I've got this here at the moment. So I'll just ground myself there. Disconnect these things. Come on. What's that? Disconnect the logic probe now as well. I don't need that on there. I was using that earlier when I was looking at that mouse issue again. Off screen. Disconnect. Right, get rid of that. I'm glad to get rid of that actually. I don't really like using that box, but it's the only way I've been able to easily test things here just recently. Right, let me get the keyboard. Those, bring this. Right, so we'll connect, I'll just get that back up. So LED power, it's 3 pins, it doesn't matter which way you get that as long as it's on all 3 pins. Again, you want to handle this bit carefully and not introduce static in there. Can't see what I'm doing with that. Yeah, the keyed bit is down here. We can't see what I'm doing, but it's not that important. There we go, it's back on. So that's that. The next thing we need is some power. Yeah, I just realised, hang on, I'll tell you in a sec. Just get that there. Video lead. Yeah, I've got my power supply already out here actually. It's just, hang on, can't see where the lead is. Yeah, I've got the power saver, can you see that? I've got the power saver within reach. I just need to just plug the power supply in. And I need to plug you in, because you're not on charge at the moment. Yeah, now you are. And Yeah, thank you for that donation, by the way. I think someone's given me another donation there because I see it showing £4 at the moment. That's much appreciated and not expected at all. So let's get the video up. Where's the video? All right, hang on. Yeah, there's been no preparation for this. I'm having to just do this by the seat of my pants kind of thing. So I've got a DIY video lead I made myself here ages ago from my own. So we'll just plug that in there. And then I've got two phono connectors here, one for audio, one for video. Just going to connect those to the TV. That was video. Audio. Right, let's try and power it on first, see what happens with the power light. Yeah, there's a bit of fluff inside there then, I've just blown that out of there. Yeah, so you can see the power light's coming on. Not seeing anything on the screen just yet, but it's probably not on the composite input. So just point you up there, zoom up, zoom you a little, not that much. And switch the TV on to side. Hope it works. It doesn't. Oh, it does. Oh, that was concerning. That was concerning. We stuck on the black screen there, didn't we? Just see if we can just move that a tiny bit. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure why we got stuck on the black screen there. Bear in mind, this is the first time this has been powered up in, I don't know how long, an incredible amount of time, I would think. Now, the sad thing is, he did say that he thinks his daughter threw the tape deck away, which I was gutted at, because they're getting rare now. And if the tape deck was in as good condition as this, it would have been hardly used, I reckon. Because there were not very many games with it. The ones I just showed you were pretty much all there was. Hudson, Gadget, what got you into repairing and restoring retro computers? Well, I used to work in the trade, so like it wasn't retro back then, it was cutting edge. You know, you think about your PlayStations and your Xboxes and things now. Let me just switch the power off. This is what was the cutting edge thing back then, you know. This is what we're all rushing out to buy. Everyone was rushing out to buy a C64 or a Spectrum or whatever. Just connected the tape deck up. Yeah, so I got into it as a career kind of thing, really, because I was just nerdy back then as well. Really interested in the game side of things and trying to understand how they work. And electronics in general. It was my friend Andrew at school that really helped get me into the electronics side and enthuse me. He was studying at school when I wasn't, so he was teaching me actually, and I was wished that I'd actually been doing electronics at school. But in recent years, I think I've always wanted to get back into it, to get back to this stuff. And one of the catalysts there was the death of Alison Shallis. Read about on an Atari forum there. Atari, it was also called Atari forum actually. And yeah, she died, and she's about the same age as me. And when you look at her history of, you know, systems she'd had, you know, work experience, jobs she'd had, etc., it was a similar parallel to everything that happened to me. And it kind of made me think, hang on a minute, life is too short. Let's do this stuff now while I have a chance. Just testing the tape deck here. Let me show you. So there's a transistor on these that power the thing. I think that's what controls the stop-start actually. So we can rewind and fast forward now, that's right. And we can play. Let's just do shift run stop. And I'll press play. I'm not sure if that should be waiting. I don't know, let's just see. Let's see what happens with that. Bear in mind that tape hasn't been used in we don't know how long. I'm assuming the tape works. Hopefully you'll be able to see the top left there, because that's usually where it comes up. But also, I was kind of expecting it to not play until you did shift run stop, but I could be wrong. It's been that long since I looked at it. C64. In terms of loading from tape. So let's just see what happens with that. Come on, please work. Of course, it could be a fault with the C64. That's the other thing to consider here. Oh, it's found, look, found your RID. So I press Commodore key. Be interesting to see how this loads. Is this one of the ones that's got... Oh no, look, load error. Is this one of the ones with the... I'll fast forward to the other side. Is this one of the ones with the Nova loader? Or whatever it is. Doesn't sound so clever, that cassette, actually. Someone said, is carpet ESD safe? No, it's not. So, let me just power cycle it. We'll do shift and stop again. It was genius how the system could control the tape recorder. Yeah, and lots of them did as well. Like the Amstrad CPC does that, doesn't it? It stops the tape at various points. But I just can't remember whether it's normal for you to be able to press play when you've not done shift run stop. It might just work that way. It'll still stop it when it needs to, because I think that worked. I saw that a minute ago. It stopped the tape at the point where it said, "There you go, found uridium." That wasn't happening before, but it said Uri, didn't it? It changed the case there though. Did you notice that? It changed from like to lower case. Look. Anyway, seems to be working. So let's just see what happens with that. Can it run C#? No. I've got a lot of tape games for the C64. That's interesting. Is that like a time loader thing? Whether you see this bar down here, is this going to get to 100% when the game's loaded? I don't know. Like you see, I never had the original version of this when I was a kid. I had a Spectrum at the time. I used to go down to my friend Grant, his house, and play on his system there with his brothers Heath and Paul, and I think they had a copy of this, although they didn't have it for very long. I don't think. I had more distinct memory of going around to a friend, Stephen, I think he was called, Stephen Lowe, and I didn't know him that well, but there was one day he said, "Come round for tea tonight. Come play on my computer." So yeah, my mum dropped me off at his house, and I went in and we played at Iridium. And I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away at the music and the speed that it ran and the colours and things. But it was already loaded. I think when I went in, it was already loaded it, so I don't think I ever saw the loading screen. Thank you very much for that donation. Super appreciated. Thanks. Wow, that's a lot as well. Everything's a lot, really. It's like every dollar counts. So, like, yeah, $10 US. It's just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. The donations I've had today will help me buy some more flux, actually, because. And it's a common thing, isn't it, me talking about flux? I need some more again. I've got one tube at the moment. And then I'm out. So this seems to be working. Once this is loaded, we'll just test this, see if this works. And I might then just change the tape over and just see if it starts picking up the loading block at the start there, because it wasn't working on the other side, was it? So I'm just trying to pull the joystick over in preparation, and we'll plug it in. Don't really like plugging it in while it's on, but it's a plastic connector, so we'll carefully put it into the second port. There we go. And we'll see what happens. It's nearly loaded, that. Don't worry, we won't be waiting for just tapes to load all the time on this. It's really just a case of just testing these two cassettes this way, and then I'll give it a go with the cart there, the ultimate cart, which is instant loading. And we'll just test some of the new games out on there. Yay! Sweet. Oh, thank you very much for that donation towards the Flux Fund, B97. Much appreciated. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Musk, for your donation. We had one at the start, didn't we? Somewhere. Yeah, Huddison, thank you. Thanks, guys. So, I'm not sure if the filtering's as good as some of my other SIDs there. Maybe it is, don't know, it sounds a bit different to what I'm used to, but one thing I've found is they all sound different. Jamie Morgan was playing this the other day, wasn't he? He was playing Iridium 2 on the Amiga, one of his streams, and he was like, I don't know how to land. It went on for about 10 minutes, I was nearly wetting myself laughing. It's so easy. What you do is you just shoot things and you wait to get to the end. Hang on, you don't crash into stuff like that. See if we can get to the end of this one. Yeah, you shoot all the stuff. Try and avoid the obstacles. And it's not obvious where they are on this version anyway. You know, things like that, those posts, those black things, they stick out. If you crash into those, you're dead. Oh, don't shoot me. Oh. Let's just try one more. I'm determined to land, because it is actually easy. Once you get used to level layout, you can literally fly from the right hand side to left really quick, but if you don't know it, it's better to go slower to see where the obstacles are. So avoid those ones there. Then we need to go down, is it? Yeah, miss the ones in the middle. There's the runway, I think. So you get to that runway at the end, and then as soon as it says land now, which you will do after about a minute or so of flying along, then you just carefully move from left to right, up slowly over the thing. Yeah, I'm not playing very well. I can't remember the layout here. Let's try it again. Stay in the middle. Yeah, avoid those. Then go to the bottom. Yeah, there we go. That's the final runway. So if we just sort of stay here, wait for it to say land now. Obviously, you've got to try and avoid the shits there because they shoot you. And you need to stay away from that flashing multicoloured box thing because it fires mines at you that heat seek. Come on, say land now. Yeah, there you go. So it says land now. You just fly over there like that. It's just the same on the Amiga one, you know, Iridium 2. Then you get the bonus round here where you've got, it's like a fruit machine. Oh yes! Destruct sequence, full bonus. I've not lost it. Yeah, on Iridium 2 you got a slightly different thing there. You got like a side-scrolling thing where you, well, not a scrolling thing, a side view of your character, your soldier, on a jetpack, and you've got to shoot the core and destroy the core on that. And then you might get a bonus round like that. I don't know. I honestly can't remember. It's been ages since I played Iridium 2. But nothing beats the original one like this on the C64. And this is, without a doubt, the best version of this game. Yeah, maybe the SID it makes me biased towards it, but anyway, that's that. So let me just power cycle it. I want to just flip the tape over and just see if it loads the starting block. Because sometimes you'll find when a tape doesn't work, like this wasn't, you will find that after you've fast forward and rewound it a few times and tried it on both sides, it starts to work as the tape starts to ease up. But other times it could be a crease in the tape, or it could be some contamination, or it might just lost some of the data there, you know, it's taken deteriorating. Just seeing drama going on in the chat here, I'm not sure what's happened there. Thanks for dealing with that, though, Neffers, whatever it was. John Flower, that's better sounding SID. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Obviously, the bread bin ones have got a better SID, you know, 6581. Oh, there you go, look, see. It said Urid before, didn't it? Or Yuri, as in Uri Geller. That does actually seem to be loading now, so it's probably just, you know, it needed a fast forward and a rewind and, you know, a couple of load attempts and then it's working. Just see if it comes up with the bar, and I'll try that other one. What's the other one? The other one is this one, Cosmic Cruiser. Yeah, so that's working. So I am happy with that. What I planned to do with that, and I never got a chance because I wasn't well enough at the time, I was going to go to play Blackpool, because Andrew Braybrook, the author of Iridium, was going to play Blackpool. I was going to get that signed. So I'm sad that I didn't get a chance to take that with me. But I mean, hopefully he'll go to one of those expos at some point in future, and hopefully I'll get a chance to get my copy of the Iridium signed. I'll tell you a story about that as well. I got the Spectrum version. After I went round to my mate's house, Stephen, I went to my mum and I was like, she went, "What do you want for Christmas?" Like, "Oh, Iridium, I want Iridium." And of course I got the awful Spectrum version. I mean, it was alright. It just wasn't the C64 version. Didn't have the SID, did it? You know, that's the thing. But 2 weeks before Christmas, mum was out one day or something and left me at home. You know, I was at home and my dad was upstairs or somewhere. So I went sneaking carefully through the Christmas presents that were previously wrapped. And I was looking for parcels, you know, packages, Christmas packages that looked about that size. And I very carefully, super carefully untaped like very carefully, tape, you know, pulling the tape away, not trying to rip the wrapping paper. And I took it out, sneaked it into my bedroom, loaded the game, and then put the cassette back in, and went and taped it back up again, and like it pretended I knew nothing about it. You know, I'd never been near it, and taken it early kind of thing. And I played it for hours. Played it for hours. I didn't switch my Spectrum off because obviously I'd have to load it again, and the tape was wrapped back up again. So there you go. That was the naughtiest I ever got as a kid, I think. It's all part of the excitement of being a kid, isn't it? And Christmas presents and trying to find them all, and you know, Santa and all that sort of stuff. Hudson, wow, cool game, must play to myself. Yeah, it is very good. Let me just see what Stonefrog's been doing. Hang on a sec. I see he's been hidden. You guys, please check out my channel. Oh, right, it's just someone trying to sell their own channel. You know what? In the context of things, there's certain ways you can get people to look at your channel. You get people to look at your channel by talking to them and having, you know, things in common and stuff, and getting to know somebody. And people will look at what you're doing. You know, that's what I do. People talk to me and they don't start trying to sell me their channel, but they talk to me and tell me what they're doing. And through my own inquisitiveness, if you like, I'll look at their channel and see what they're doing. And you know what? Next thing you know, I'll be talking about their channel. Yeah, so just going onto people's channels, start posting links all over the place to your own channel, that's not helping anybody, and you just rub people up the wrong ways. Armalite is another great C64 shooter. Okay, I'll check that out. Listen, Janu, I like Iridium, but it's a very hard game. Yes, it is. It is. I think it's all about, it's like lots of games, isn't it? If you memorise the level layout, it becomes pretty easy. But there are a lot of levels on Iridium, and it's the enemies as well, the ships, you know, that fly around the level there. They're the things that inevitably kill you, even if you do know the level layout. And obviously the mines and things as well. Chris plays Space Taxi. It's a nice hidden gem. Oh right, okay, yeah. I watched it again. Jamie Morgan play that. We'll perhaps have a look at that in a sec. As soon as we've just tested this cassette, I'm not even sure if this is loaded. I'm not sure if this is loaded. These were sat, you know, obviously stored somewhere in a damp environment, I think, for a long period of time. And even when I got them, they actually sat, because I had no room anyway, they sat in a box, actually on the outside of the house, actually into the elements. I had no choice. I had so much stuff that Andrew brought, I had no choice, but they were protected with some plastic stuff over them. So I'll be absolutely amazed if this works first time, actually. I suspect this is one of the ones that doesn't give you any kind of loading. It's such an early game. You know, you don't get like a title screen or any music. But that's one nice feature on the C64. You know, you get loading music, some great loading music. Galby 3000, that thumbnail, I thought it was Carl Pilkington. Yeah, it's funny how people keep comparing me to Carl Pilkington. I see that as an honour, to be honest, because that guy just has me in tears laughing, Carl Pilkington. I watch him on Idiot Abroad and things like that. He's just so funny. He's so funny. Seriously is. So if I could be 2% like Carl Pilkington, yeah, I'm happy with that. I think some people try and say that to try and offend me. It doesn't work. It has the opposite effect. Loading music to Batman, yeah, that's the thing. So that was an Ocean game, wasn't it? And all the Ocean games have fantastic loading music. How's the cassette doing? It's about halfway through the tape, but the tape might not contain all that data, so it's probably loaded. It might load in a minute if it's loaded. Just going to go get my Ultimate card in advance. We've also got a couple of carts to check out, haven't we? I'm not going to do those in this stream. We'll do those at some other point. Because I got Andrew's stuff. There was a copy of Dig Dug, yeah, on cartridge, and there was also a Pole Position, brand new, unopened. And I think there were also a few tape games and things as well, weren't there? That had either not been opened or, you know, boxes, big boxes, like big box ones, not like these ones, but giant ones, you know, that are like, I don't know, like the ones you used to get on the Amiga that were like a foot long in size, you know, foot, huge things. He's got a couple of box games like that. It's still loaded, it's not stopped yet. I hope it's working. Paul Monahan, stick the tapes on a hot radiator for half an hour. Sorts out most dodgy tapes. Yeah, I never thought of that, but I don't know, hot and cold things, you know, so heat and cool can actually sometimes create problems. You wouldn't want them to be too hot. I would imagine if you had tape sat in the sun for a period of time, that could have the same, if not worse, damage than keeping them in a cold environment. But the problem is when they're in damp, you get types of mould and fungus and stuff on there, don't you? Some people clean cassettes actually when they've been in that kind of environment. You can do the same thing with discs. You want like a diluted IPA effectively with a cotton bud and just very, very, very gently clean it. But when you know, with a cassette, that's quite hard, isn't it? Because there's quite a long length of it. You'd be at it for quite a while. There might even be tape cleaners you can get. I'm not sure. I mean, you know, you can get tape cleaner that will clean the heads, but what I mean is something that can help you assist cleaning the tape. So I see Xavier's joins us again. Hello, Amiga. Yeah, it's not Amiga. It's this one's C64. This is a Commodore C64. Nice to see you, Xavier. I hope you're well. It's not very exciting watching this load, is it? Good God. It's getting near the end now, so it's either... Did it come up with a loading thing though? I don't think it did it? I don't think it did. Let's try the other side. Just thinking about it, did it even say what was loaded? Not sure if I missed anyone screaming that out of the chat there. But I don't remember whether it... Let's try it again. I don't know whether it even came up with anything here. If it doesn't come up with something, you know, loading, something found, whatever, then it's clearly not working. So we'll just give that one more try, just see what comes up here now, if anything. It could be beyond. It could be beyond. I want it to work though, because from what I've seen of this game, it looks fairly interesting. It's an early game, I think. Yeah, it's very basic, but yeah, just looking at the screenshots, yeah, that's the one I've seen on YouTube. It looks good. I'll show you that, just in case we can't actually load it. Yeah, you can see the screenshots there. It's got a signature there as well, presumably the guy from that company there, the chairman. Yeah, it's not picking it up, is it? It's not picking it up. Because that should have come up with something already now. Let's just have a look at the tape, see what the tape looks like. Yeah, I'll see if I can show you this. Let's put you down here a sec. Yeah, it's kind of like bumpy. Can you see? It's got like irregular bumps and it looks warped here a bit towards the centre. So I don't know, maybe it's had its day. The other thing you can sometimes do, and I've talked about this before as well, is just retension it a bit. You know, pull the tape just ever so slightly, a little bit like that. If you do it too much, you'll snap it. But sometimes retention in tapes like that can make a difference. Let's give it one more try, and then we'll move on to the ultimate cart there. We'll just load some games and things. Maybe try out that taxi game or whatever it is, Space Taxi, I think it was called. Let's try that again. Let's just switch it off, switch it on. Shift front stop. I'm very pleased this C64 works though, because yeah, well, it's always good to find a working C64, isn't it? I'll definitely keep this one as a spare, because I mean I have got a number of spares, but this one's in pristine condition really. Someone said that alignment probably. Yeah, it could be, but bear in mind that this Commodore tape deck, you wouldn't want to alter the alignment. You can, let me show you. You can alter the azimuth there, yeah, but that's never been changed. I guarantee that's never been changed. No one would have ever needed to change that. That's the one difference really, I would say, with the C64. You tended to buy games for the C64 because it had a data set, you know, an official cassette deck like that. You tended to find everything would always work. If you were unlucky, you had you got a new game that wouldn't work, and it was just one that had to be sent back to the manufacturer. You know, they give you a new copy and it would work. Because I had that once or twice at Boots and stuff when they sold games. But on the Spectrum, obviously you sourced your own tape deck, and that was one of the issues really. I think manufacturers didn't always align them exactly the same. So on some games on the Spectrum, you inevitably had to mess around with the azimuth there to change the alignment. But on the C64, they're all almost the same. That's definitely not loaded. Definitely not loaded. The other thing you can do with something like this, obviously, is just put that into a standard cassette deck and play it and listen to how it sounds. So I might have a play with that tape off stream to see if I can get it working. We'll just give it one more try there to see if it picks up anything. But it's not. It doesn't even seem to be picking up the header, does it? Should never leave them in sunlight if you can help it. Yeah, kinked. Yeah, happy coding. Yeah, as you say, kinked. I think there's some kinks and twists, and it's probably because it's been in a damp, cold place. Nefers, I'm in a bit of a situation. I have 2 tape decks for my 64C, but I get varying results. I don't know whether to blame the tapes or the decks. Yeah, that can be a problem, but I mean, you've got lots of analogy, wary kind of parts on a tape deck, haven't you? That's the thing, the belts and the clutch thing on it, you know, the springs, all of those sort of things. Certainly the rubber parts that wear, they're the main issue on these cassette decks. But this cassette deck will load generally every tape I throw at it. So you saw we had a problem with the iridium at the start there, but that did start working very quickly thereafter. There's a chance that iridium has dirtied the heads up. That's possible. Let's just take that out and put iridium back in and just see if it finds the header and start that. But I promise you we'll look at the cartridge thing in a minute to avoid all this tape nonsense. We'll just see if this comes up saying loading iridium. If it does, then we'll assume it's that tape actually. I'll just off camera spend some time trying to do something with that. I don't know. I might even try and clean the tape if I can. Let's just see if that comes up with the loading. Yeah. From experience, one thing I have found is you can dirty heads that way. You take a cassette from some unknown origin, you know, a new one that you've not tested that's, well, it's not new, it's old, super old. You stick it into your tape deck and you try and load it a few times. Before you know it, nothing will load on that tape deck because you've dirtied the heads. And I definitely had that. You see, look, that's loading now. Found iridium. So it's not the heads. I've definitely had that on 1541 drives. You load a particular disc before you know it, the heads aren't working. You've got to clean the heads again. 1 or 2 of my discs are like that I don't actually use them because every time I put them in a drive, they mess up the heads on whatever drive I use. That's working. Anyway, switch that off. We'll connect up the Ultimate. Let's load some games from cartridge. Oh, it's going to be a shame if that Cosmic Cruiser can't work, but anyway. And you could of course swap the tape out. Novabug did that. Actually took a cassette apart and you know, replaced the innards. You know, taped a new version of the game to a new cassette and, you know, fitted it in the old shell. So I'll just point you down here a sec. I'll show you. I'm sure you've seen all this sort of stuff before. You've probably got one of these if you're a C64 fan. You've probably got one of these yourself. 1541 Ultimate. So this is the Ultimate 2. There's an Ultimate 3. There might even be a successor to the Ultimate 3 now. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to show you this, but you just, you know, obviously, I've just crushed my wire here. That's not what I want to do. Yeah, this wire here, there's a wire for the cassette thing, so we don't need that. Yeah, just plug it into the cartridge port back here. That's it. I went in really well, actually, really easily. And the serial cable just goes in there, as if like a normal 1541 disk drive. Yeah, this thing here is just for loading from tape. So with this adapter, it will send data across here. You know, there's a little connection underneath the cartridge. You plug that in, and you can load tapes that way. That way, you gain the benefit of tape loaders. So I'll switch that on. See what happens with that. Yeah, that's a good sign. Ooh. Let's go straight up with that. So, right, we'll just try and press the middle button. There we go. So onto the SD card. And let's go into. I thought there was a file called Homebrew. It clearly isn't. It's this one, isn't it? So I'm trying to think what's new, what I've added on here. I added something here yesterday. Oh, I know what it is. It might be in a folder. Let's have a look at it. Yes, it is. Fix it, Felix. Let's just try that. You might be sick of seeing it because I've seen this all over the place recently. I'm not sick of seeing it. I've enjoyed watching it on the channels that I've seen it on there. I saw it on the Highlanders channel, and also on Jamie's channel as well, Jamie Morgan Just Games. So let's go in there. We've got tape version, disc version, or prog. Let's just load the prog and see what happens with this. Hope it works.
I'm gonna wreck it.
Great speech as well on there. I'm impressed with that. Set fire. So this is a recent bit of homebrew, I think, this year. It's quite quiet.
Hey, you moved my thumb.
Someone said Ultimate 2 Plus is the latest, I currently believe. Thank you for that. Okay. That loud obnoxious meep sound when fast load fails. Yeah, you can hear the speech is really good. The speech is awesome. It's incredible. It's incredible how much speech they've managed to fit into there, you know, as well as the graphics and the code. Because we're loading a PRG file in as well, it's not like a car. Yeah, so they've done well with the compression there for the sound. To fit so many samples in such a small amount of RAM. And if you're not aware, you've not seen this, you've got to fix the windows. And avoid him throwing barrels down at you and whatever else he throws down. Oh. Hang on a minute, haven't I finished it? What am I waiting for? I've got to do the top. Huh? Hang on, is that middle one not done? Oh. Maybe the downstairs middle one's not right. Yeah, there we go. That was confusing there. I wasn't sure what I was actually waiting for. Yeah, so one thing I would say about this SID chip, it seems quite quiet, if I'm honest. I've got my volume quite loud, like 30. So maybe that SID chip is not 100%. But I mean, the sound coming out of it is okay. When did he throw him off the top? Is that, I think, when you get to the end, you're going to be so many rounds and then he gets lobbed off the top of the building. See if we can get to that. Might only be another round or two in. Oh. I've only got one life left now, I think. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I'm not patient enough. Still got one life. There we go. So it's a faulty op amp. Yeah, there's no op amp for the audio on these. I think you've got, there might be a transistor. I think there's a transistor and that's it. So maybe that transistor's failed. Because it does seem quite quiet. See what volume it's on here. It's on 30. Yeah, I'm sure that's not normal. Normally I'll have the volume on 18 to 20 and you can hear it fairly well. I'm not used to playing this game though, so I don't know. We'll try it and some more stuff in a sec and just see what it sounds like. Oh. That was unfair. Didn't even have a chance to move out of the way. Yeah, there are some bugs in that game, I think. It's not perfect. So let's just try something else. Maybe try something I'm a bit more familiar with. Let's releases. Let me just try Ghosts and Goblins Arcade, just because I kind of, hang on, I kind of know what that sounds like. Cart version, one cart. So you get the classic music there, but then when it starts you get different music. Yeah, it sounds fine. Ooh, an issue there, haven't we? Switch it off and on. It could be the PLA on this actually, maybe the PLA's on its way out. Let's try that again. It's good you can use the joystick on it. I've forgotten that you can use the joystick to navigate actually. Yeah, the fact that we're running from cartridge would make me suspect maybe the PLA could be playing up on this. But it could be RAM or anything, let's just see if that works. Let's try it now. It's actually quite loud now, let's turn it down a touch. Yeah, maybe the synth's alright, look, because look, back at 20, that's at a good audible level now, so I think it was just that game, the sound was a bit quiet on. And the other thing to point out here, we haven't cleaned the, hang on, we haven't cleaned the, that was a bit glitchy there, we haven't cleaned the power switch or anything on the socket, so the 5 volts might be a touch low on this, that might not be helping. I can never remember where it is on this version, it's different. There he is. Ah! Oh, so hard. What's that little thing called? Red Arima, isn't it? Red Arima. It's probably the hardest thing in the entire game, in all versions. There we go. Oh. Oh. Yeah, there's something not right with that, look. There's something not right with it. Could be a fun one to try and diagnose this. Let's just have a look at the motherboard. Let's just see what version of RAM is on there, what make of RAM. Is it that MTI stuff or whatever it is? No, it's Mitsubishi, is it? Yeah, triangle. And obviously the VIC really should be heat sunk. So I mean, it could be anything, it could be a loose. Sorry, you can't really see what I'm doing there. Yeah, I was going to say the VIC should be heat sunk really, so it could just be that that's getting warm. It can be the sockets obviously can be an issue. I would typically remove these, clean these up. I'll do that later and refit them. Yeah, other than that, you know, recap. Yeah, I wouldn't bother rushing to recap one of these. They'll probably be alright. We can test them on the cap meter. We'll perhaps do that in another stream. We'll just try and load one or two more things. I think it's all right, but I think there's obviously some reason for why it's doing that, why it's doing the occasional crash. It could just be dirty slot as well. You know, the actual Ultimate 2 there, all we did is just plug it straight in. It's not been cleaned or anything, the edge there. So let's have a look in there. Let's see what else I've got this Homebrews new release. What time is it? God, it's 4:45. So I'll just show you one or two more of these that you may or may not have seen. So you've seen Fix It Felix, we've just done that one. Everyone's aware there's Bruce Lee 2, aren't there? There's now a Bruce Lee 3. What else have we got? There was that thing that's like Mikey, that I can't remember the name of now. It's called My Hero or something, wasn't it? Is that up top in a folder maybe? Let's have a look. Hang on a minute. There we go, My Life, that's it, not My Hero, My Life. Let's try that. Mount disk. Fast load. Let's see if that works. Yeah, sorry I haven't been catching up with chat, guys. I've been so focused on what I'm doing again. Let's see what's being said. Before Dark Souls, there was Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah, true. It is a very hard game, but I just love it so much, especially the C64 version. No. Yeah, so this is kind of paying homage to Mikey, isn't it? Or Mickey, is it called? The arcade game. Even the title screen looks very, very similar to me. It's got the same style. Someone said, "Ooh, time for a new firmware update, Chris." Yeah, no, I don't think the firmware on the Ultimate Lead is doing. I think there's those crashes we've had. There's something not quite right with the system. It could just be a dirty, bad power connection. I think something like that probably. Oh yeah, so you stamp on these. Look, this is just like Mikey. We had a stuck note there. Did you hear that? That makes me think PLA actually. I think the PLA might be socketed on this actually, so I don't know, I didn't notice that. Maybe it's just the SID that was socketed. Oh. Yeah, you can get stunned by those enemies, can't you? That's just what happened there. You've got to stamp on all the things on the screen there to get onto the next screen. A bit like you do on Mikey, but on that, it's like you've got to knock people off chairs, haven't you, to get the thing for it. Hang on. Yeah, did you hear the sound? That didn't sound right. It sounds stuck. So my guess is, unless there's something wrong with the SID, hopefully there isn't. Hopefully it's just PLA. So maybe we'll cover that in another video. If I do more testing on this and it doesn't look like there's an issue, we might have to swap the PLA. Yeah, see, look. I don't remember going, sticking, that note sticking like that there. I'm sure that's not right. And we heard, a sticky note on that last game, didn't we? Let's just try something else from that cart there. Another homebrew game. Hawksmill, let's try that. This is one that Wouter showed on his channel the other day, Highlander. Again, that's a good game. Let's just reset it if we can. F7. Shift F1. Return. Let's just see what this sounds like. Now, funnily enough, when he loaded this, there was no sound to start with. And it took a while to work out what was going on. I think, in the end of the day, he did get it working. He was testing on the Ultimate 64, wasn't he? He's got one of those, an Ultimate 64. But I think there was no gunfire sound, that's what he was saying. You got sound when you hit things with a bullet, but you didn't get sound when you actually fire the bullet. That's not loading, is it? It's not doing anything. What chip was socketed? Never said. I think it's the SID is socketed and the VIC is socketed. Now I do know the VIC chips on these, I had this problem with mine actually, that it did need taking out and the socket cleaning up. So it could just be that. There might be actually nothing actually wrong with this other than the heat is now contributing towards problems as that chip gets hotter. So we'll install fastload again. Let's just try something else. That didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work that. Let's try Bad Apple. Shift F1. See, I'm not even sure I pressed return there and it went away and did something. I don't know what that was though. That was weird. I also know that sometimes if you use a fast loader, when you're loading something that's kind of got its own built-in fast loader, you can have issues. So that particular game we tried a minute ago, that might be the issue with that. Because that seems to work and look, I think. Just wait to see if we get this sound. Skeptic. I don't think it would be possible to have this amount of animation in less than a few meg. The image data per frame is simple. I'm sure it can be packed to a single disk side. Spaceballs did something on the Amiga, but had less frames. I meant 170k for C64. Skeptic. That cannot be done, not even on the PC, but good luck for being so positive. The other person, when I say something can be done, then it can. Skeptic. Sure, some chunks per frame, something is random junk, etc. Anyway, so yeah, it's one of these where people perhaps thought this was not going to be possible in such a small amount of RAM and using 170k disk. Always amazes me to see versions of bad Apple on these old systems. It's not as good as the Mega Drive version for sure. It's like comparing apples and potatoes though, isn't it? I'm not sure if that SID's right or not. Are we missing a channel there? I don't know. Let's try something else. I just want to try something with some good music that I know in order to test it. You can load music straight from here, can't you? The music player. Let's do that. Musicians, Galway. Martin Galway. Let's try Rambo. Sanction loader, yeah, try that. Yeah, that SID chip's fine. That SID chip is fine. Sounds weird, someone said. It sounds a little bit different to some of the other SID chips I've got, but there's nothing wrong with it. All the channels are there. The filter is working. The thing you've got to remember though is no two SID chips generally sound the same. You can have two of the exact same model and year and revision and everything, and they don't sound the same. Trust me, they don't. You can get them so they do sound the same, but most of the time you'll find there's subtle variations that do make them sound very different. Anyway, yeah, let's just try that space taxi thing that someone said, and I'm going to get off, I think. I'm going to go and get some tea. Let's go find it. It's going to be in there, I think. What's it called, space taxi? I'm sure it was. Up. I think you can type here, can't you? Let's just go back one. I think you could just type SP. Yeah, there we go. SP. And scroll down a bit. A lot, in fact. Oh my god, how many games begin with S? It's like the Amiga the other day when we were looking at that A4000, we couldn't find that game. Was it there? Space Taxi. There it is. Just go up a bit. Down a bit. Mounts. Fast load. Shift F1. Return. Oh, Highland said F7 page down. Oh, okay, yeah. I think you can press right, can't you, as well, on the thing there. You don't necessarily need to use the function keys, but yeah. Thanks for that. I've just forgotten. One of my problems is I juggle and swap between systems so frequently. When I come to use one that I've not played in a year or something, or 6 months or so, I can't remember some of the basic things. I'll tell you the one that really stumps me is the BBC. Every time I go back to the BBC, I'm like, how do you catalogue a disc? How do you get a list of things on a disc again? How do you get something to load? What do I press? I can't remember any of the commands. I've gone as far as actually printing off a list of instructions for the BBC. What's that weird noise? It sounds like an airplane. It's the intro, isn't it? Cracktro. Skip that. Oh, hang on a minute. Why would you want to change the SID? That's a really weird thing to have on a Cracktro there. The top option to change the SID. I don't know what the benefit there is. But is it for the speech, maybe? It'll be for the speech, won't it? That's why you've got that 858 option there, because the 858 was notorious for having bad digital speech, depending on how it had been done. So let's try this now. Press fine. Number players 1, cabbies 1, yeah. Beginner, that's me. Ah, okay. How do you go left and right? Oh, that's landing gear. Oh, right. Once you're landing things down, you can't steer. I get it, right. So I'll come down here. Does it matter if we crush him? That was a heavy landing there. I meant to thrust and I didn't. I just pressed the fire button to drop the thing down, the landing gear down. So, oh, yeah. I'm just remembering when I've seen Jamie play this, how you play it. Pad 1. Okay. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, you can up thrust as well. Stop yourself from crashing into things at the top of the screen. It's good speech. Oh, it's very cool, this, isn't it? Yeah, it's very good, this game. I like this. Oh dear. I crashed into him. Oh, I think I knocked his head off. Where do we go now? Oh, he's back again. Oh, it's somebody else. Looking suspiciously like him. Oh no. It's kind of like Lunar Lander, isn't it? You know, having to get the thrust just right there and the velocity and all that. I don't hear what he said now. Up, please. Decapitate your passenger, yeah, I did. Pod 1. There we go. I'm getting used to this. I'm going to put my landing gear down. Oh! I must have had a bumpy landing or something there. Exploded or something. Fell off the edge. I'll just do 1 or 2 more of these pickups. Oh my goodness! Crashed again. How many lives did you get? Problem with me, I'm impatient, so I then drive at ridiculous speeds to try and make up for the, oh my god, that's a long way across the side of the screen. Like that. I guess there's a tactic there, isn't there? Because if you land, I don't know what he said now, pad 5. Yeah, if you land too far away, obviously it takes longer for them to. Oh, I forgot to put landing gear down. That's why I crashed before, isn't it? Yeah, it takes longer for them to get to you. There you go. Right, on that note, I am getting off. You could have just walked pad 3, lazy bastard, yes. Yeah. Yeah, so thanks for joining the stream, guys. Thank you for the donations today. We'll perhaps come back and have another look at that C64 in another video soon. You know, what I might do is just reseat those things, clean up the switches and things. We'll measure the voltage on it and stuff just to see. Because I'm curious to see what the actual issue is. Is it going to be bad, you know, a low voltage, or is it going to be one of the chips need reseating? I don't think there's a fault with it, because it's too consistently reliable for it to be a fault. But I do know that I've got the exact same revision myself that I use in my main board. And one of the problems I had was this, the socket here. The socket here. I found that as the chip gets hot, and if I put the finger on that now, it's red hot, absolutely red hot. As this heats up, you get some chip creep. And it causes like weird things like you saw where you get the graphics get messed up. And I had exactly the same issue on my other board. And I ended up having to just put some contact cleaner in there and clean up the pins on the chip and heat sink it. And after I did that, I've never had a problem. There was one point where I took the heatsink off that other Vic chip and the problem started coming back again. As soon as I put heatsink back on, the problem went away again. So yeah, you could argue that maybe replacing that socket there would be a good idea. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to get off, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for the likes and stuff. Thanks for the donations. Oh, Zarkos, you just sent the donation as well. Thank you ever so much, Zarkos, Xavier. So have a good weekend. I might do a stream again tomorrow. I'm not sure. If not, I'll be doing one next week at some point, or maybe check out Stephen Leary's channel, or some of the other people that have been joining these streams as well. People like the Highlander, and Jamie Morgan. Who else have we had? Neffers. Oh, you don't do videos though typically, do you? But we've got lots of people in the channel here that you'll have seen that have their own, you know, their own channels and things and do videos themselves. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Stay safe. Thank you ever so much, and I'll see you in the next one.